I'd love to see you do some bits while you're eating fire.
Oh yeah?
Or juggling fire. Or grinding sparks off your hoo-ha.
I went into my dermatologist. I never used to see a dermatologist. I went into her, and she was, physically gifted, very attractive gal. And
did she make you blush? Did she think that you had rosacea?
Yeah, we were close. I have a problem where if I experience an authority figure, I try to calm myself by being flirty. So this doctor comes in and she goes, and she's like giving me, full body check. And she goes, so do you see you have a lot of freckles on your face? And me, like a moron, I go, I guess the sun loves me.
Oh no, a dermatologist.
Yeah, because I'm an idiot. And
He's gonna push so much stuff at you.
Yeah, and she just looks at me and goes, so that's actually sun damage. And I was like, what happened? And she's like, it's sun damage. And I was like, what? And she's like,
I thought it was just cute.
I was like, they're freckles. And she goes, yeah. So if you don't address that, she goes, you're going to need to start putting on an SPF moisturizer every day or else it will turn into melanoma. And I was like, how did we get here? Am I going to die?
Oh my God, it's scary.
All my flirting disappeared. I was like, am I dying?
You want me to start crying?
Yeah, I came close. And she was like, okay, have a good day, sir. And I'm like,
oh gosh.
Screwed up my chance with a dermatologist.
Oh, damn.
Before we keep going, I do want to talk about the tea we're drinking today.
Yes, let's talk about it.
So the tea we're drinking today is Love Potion by Bird and Blend. It's a little hot. It brews at boiling. I'm going to see if I can get a sip off.
This smells like Valentine's date night. This smells like romance.
Well, you know what? This is a podcast date. I love it.
I love this. It's fantastic. I'm not going to try it yet because I feel like I'm a
oh
little
my God,
sissy.
that's good.
I'm a fire eater and I can't handle hot beverages.
That's incredible. And we're going to get to that. For those that are brewing at home, by the way, this is absolutely sensational. It's a black tea, brews at boiling for about 4 minutes. I couldn't more highly recommend this tea. It's like chocolatey strawberry. It's like chocolate covered strawberries in a tea. I mean, it's really great.
I just had a little splash of it and it literally tastes like I am eating an entire box of candy chocolates.
I love it.
This is incredible.
I love this. But no, wait, I want to go back to you said that you're a fire eater.
I'm a fire eater.
I have gotten to see you do some crazy stuff. I don't think I've seen you do fire eating.
You might have, but you might have just repressed the memory because it could be kind of scary.
I remember I saw someone at a show, and I think you were there because I think I talked to you about it afterwards. A woman who was on the show. We were both on a burlesque show. I was opening the show because Lord knows that when everyone wants to see women doing incredible things, they want to see a dorky white guy really just open up the show. But there was a woman who brought out razor blades. Like a buzzsaw kind of thing, and it's like buzzsawing at her like corset, which is I guess metal lined. But it was
probably me.
That was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
The sparks?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's angle grinding. So it's an angle grinder.
Whatever it was I literally was like, am I going to see someone die today?
Probably.
I was like, do I need to call 911?
It depends on how long the cord on the grinder is. Mine's battery operated, so I'm a little safer now.
Oh, thank God. What? How? I don't want to I don't want to give you do an interview about what is your history, but how do you obviously burlesque? There's so many different things you can do, and in this kind of performance style, not just burlesque, but in performance general, there's so many things you could do. What attracted you to fire eating and what is it? It's angle grinder.
Angle grinding. Okay, it stems from my dad.
There's no part of me that can see this.
It stems from my dad in a good way. He's a fireman. He was a career fireman. He retired.
Incredible. Yeah.
So I was raised around the knowledge that we can control the element of fire. I was raised what to do in case a fire happens and to stay calm. And then I ended up working in a sideshow, and the producer of the sideshow wanted to teach me fire if I taught him how to host shows. So he taught me fire eating, and I taught him comedy and show running and how to be a carnival barker and all that. And I started doing firework, and I hid it from my dad because I didn't want him upset with me that he spent his whole career putting fires out. And there I am, his rebellious punk daughter eating fire for a living. I was outed by another family member. I was in the news eating fire, a newspaper.
That is amazing.
And Thanksgiving dinner, I go home and I'm visiting the folks, and my adorable aunt, she's like a punk from the 60s. She's really cool. It's like wildfire, this one. And she goes, hey, by the way, did you see she got the front page? And shot down this newspaper with me eating fire on the front. And my dad is eating his dinner. And he just looks down at this and quietly just put his fork down and left the table and didn't come back for an hour.
Are you kidding me?
But then he came back then he came back and he goes, so you do this kind of stuff? And he had photos in his phone of this bike week thing. And some performer was eating fire. And I was like, yeah, I do that. And he goes, that's so cool.
So he came around in an hour.
He came around. He was like, wait a minute. That's neat. Yeah. And then the grinder, my dad built racing motorcycles for fun when he wasn't doing firefighter work.
Is your dad just like inherently cool?
It's ridiculous. I feel like I grew up with Evel Knievel. It's crazy.
I mean, this is the coolest story ever. Okay.
Right. So I grew up like one of the boys. Like I'm the only girl in the house, and it's like a kid brother who wanted nothing to do with motorcycles, but I was interested in it because it felt like I was playing with Legos to me, like make little metal pieces into stuff that does stuff.
Yeah.
So I was working on motorcycle parts with my dad, and he had like power tools and angle grinders and stuff. And I was watching him work, and I never was afraid of that stuff. Well, with the burlesque, you travel a lot for gigs sometimes. And I was working in Chicago, and there was an entire burlesque troupe made of girls who did angle grinding. So they all had either metal bras or belt pieces that are like a DVD case sized piece of metal. And they were all doing burlesque dancing and go-go dancing while sparking off their costumes with these power tools. And I was like, you have got to show me this. That is the coolest thing ever.
This is a dumb question. I understand that. But does this take like a while to learn to do safely and effectively?
Just, no.
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 You just have to be daring?
I joke that I am a walking OSHA violation. And please don't call the cops on me. And then I announce myself to this stage because it's usually like brawny, big, tough dudes that'll come to me after the shows like, are you out of your fucking mind?
I probably said that to you myself.
You probably have.
What made you, so obviously at a young age, you're seeing all this cool shit. What made you just go, yeah, I can eat fire. I can do angle grinding. I'm gonna go into burlesque. I'm gonna kick some ass.
I feel like I just had a punk mentality where... okay, so I've been a performer for about 22 years. I'm in my 40s. So I've been doing this for a really long time.
Whatever you're doing, well, I guess I was going to say whatever you're doing. It's
the
Noxzema and water.
Well, I do have a regimen now, but it's very, like as of a week ago, I'm using expensive crap. So I actually kind of hate it. Like I feel really greasy, but I'm moisturized, I guess. That's nice. It's like drinking water, forcing yourself to drink water. So I was working in burlesque and I was getting a little bored with just seeing like 5 girls in fancy costumes and fancy dresses. And it's like, I want some variety in this show. So I started hiring drag queens. And it's like, okay, cool. Now we've got a little variety. I want more variety. And then I started being hired in with circus sideshow companies as a burlesque dancer because there is a long history of burlesque performers touring with sideshow companies and circus work.
I didn't know
there was always like a stripper, like always a feather fan girl, or like the girl that carries a large snake on her while she's wearing a pretty dress.
Well, by the way, don't think we're not going to touch on you and the whole snake stuff in a second.
There's so much snake stuff.
Yeah,
I love my snakes. So yeah, that's another. I got my snakes because I wanted to start working with them again. So yeah, I started just seeing all this weird stuff that people were doing in sideshow. And it's like, you know what? If I took this thing and I put it on stage while looking like a beauty queen in a pretty gown with feathers and glamour and glitter and all these rhinestones, I think that would really scare the shit out of people. And that became my thing. Yeah.
That is great. But
so it's like now I try to look as delicate and like elegant and girly. I always used to look like a punk. I had a mohawk like when I was performing. So this is all new, like the glamour thing. I wasn't doing it much, but it works.
Yeah, I know you as like a very elegant host. Very funny, a lot of dry wit.
It's a lot of dick jokes, but thank you.
Yeah, but a lot of like everything is done with kind of a wink and a nod, which I love. But like, so when you're first seeing all this stuff, because the thing that I love, I find this very one of my favorite things when I meet people is when I find people who find something they love and find a way to make a living at it.
Oh yeah.
And so that is one of the things that I absolutely love about you is like you are fucking good at what you do.
Thank you.
And you make a living at it. At what point in your life or what age or what time were you just like, I'm going to make a proper run at this? Like I'm actually going to like make this my living.
So I don't come from a lot of money. My family was like lower middle class or like lower class. And my dad really wanted me to go to college and like be a dental hygienist or a nurse, like do something practical. And I really wanted to be a librarian. My dream was to become a librarian. I wanted to curate international university libraries and historical books. That was my thing. I was I was a literary nerd.
Oh my
nerd.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that there's a lot of expensive education that goes into that. You have to have like masters of library sciences, doctorates, all this stuff to have a proper career as a librarian. And as I was coming up into my 20s, graduating high school, I'm seeing things go digital. Now there's really nothing inside a library except computers. Yeah. So there's no book curating. There's no book fairs anymore. It's just look it up on Google. And it was depressing. So I was like, well, I need to find something else that makes me happy. That was my dream, blown to bits right in front of me as I was working in bookshops. Like, meeting librarians and like building up this idea in my head. I could be like some cool, like the cool librarian in the ninth gate that like finds historical books that are super rare and bound in the skin of the devil himself. Like that's what I wanted to be. But yeah. And then I was also in ballroom dance as a hobby. I do a lot of stuff. I've had a lot of life.
I'm seeing that. Yeah.
And I was doing like ballroom dance, and it's like, well, this is kind of fun. I was a competitive dancer. So it's like, okay, I like winning prizes and wearing pretty dresses, and the shoes are cute, and I like the styling, and maybe I can do something with this. And I did that for a couple of years. I taught ballroom, and I traveled around Florida where I'm from and taught little like senior citizens how to do like foxtrot. It was really cute. It was fun. And then I started going to drag shows and was like, wow, these people aren't really doing anything else for work. This is all they do. And I started talking to like cabaret performers. There really wasn't any burlesque in Florida when I started doing it. This was like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
There was one production and they were so disconnected from where we were. I was in Vero Beach in Tampa and they were down in like Miami.
Oh, got it.
So there really wasn't any nightlife or anything like that. And it's like, okay, well, I'm seeing these other like stage performers, these go-go dancers, strippers, dominatrixes, drag queens, all these people, they do this full time. Or they just have a really expensive husband, and it's like, well, maybe I could do that, or I could just try to make it on my own. So I tried it, and I still had survival jobs. I was bartending every now and again, a couple nights a week, and I'd pick up little shows. But because of bartending, I was able to see what venues around town had good space that could maybe have some kind of girly show. So it's like, okay, well, I was working in punk bars. I was working in metal bars, nightclubs, drag bars, gay bars, neighborhood taverns. And it's like they always had like a small riser for like a little band or something. And it's like, hey, do you maybe want to trust me with running a kind of show here? And I would try to hire like local strippers. And it's like, hey, come over. We're going to make some costumes. Let's put some cute thing together and we'll see if it works. And it always worked every single time. We'd sell these clubs out. It was crazy.
Holy crap.
So we started getting invited to do it more and more. And I started producing more shows like that. And sometimes it would be 2 shows a night, 2 shows in different cities on the same night. It was getting crazy.
Different cities?
Different cities, yeah. Like from Tampa to Orlando, I'd have to double book because I had to run like a wedding in Tampa and then run a late night drag show with burlesque dancers in it in Orlando.
This is a really stupid question. I'm aware of that, especially given I was just in Florida. How far away is Tampa from Orlando?
Like an hour and a half.
So like a hefty enough
drive. And I was driving from Tampa to Miami quite frequently too, through the Everglades for work.
That's got to be through.
It was horrible. It was like 4 hours.
That is bananas. And but you're not doing. I mean, you weren't doing Tampa to Miami in a night.
Yeah, I was.
You're crazy. I'm just
it's just I wanted it so bad. So I spent a good 10 years just not profiting anything. I was making bartender money. So it's like, well, the burlesque stuff is just me building towards something else.
Sure.
And then I started touring outside of the state and doing conventions, like nerd conventions, and networking with that to where it's like, hey, I saw you host this goofy thing. Do you want to come on my radio show and do like a on-air personality?
Hell yeah.
So that is where I started working on voice stuff. And that also went with me having to host burlesque shows by myself because I couldn't find anyone to do it. I didn't trust anybody with that because they'd be representing us in the wrong way. Like, you guys want to see some boobs? Huh? And it's like, no, that's not... Class it up a little bit.
Of course.
Like, we're here to see theatrical boobs.
Is that what they call it? Theatrical boobs.
Theatrical boobs.
Mm-hmm. There is a TV writer and performer named Lena Waithe. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She created The Chi. It was on Showtime. But she once, I heard her in an interview once on an NPR show. And she said it's so important to have dreams, but a lot of people forget that every dream needs a sponsor.
You have to have some kind of backup plan, and you have to have people that believe in you enough to help you when they see you struggle.
Yeah, you have to have someone believe that if they help you in that moment, that it will help you soar in the future.
It really does, though. Like, I couldn't have done any of this if I didn't have like a patron of mine in Orlando that anything I wanted to do, he would outright lease out the venue for me and just not want anything except a front row seat. I had people that would help me rent a van because they knew that I had a bunch of big stage props and light rigging to set up, and like a band conductor from like a local symphony would be like, hey, I've got mic equipment. I'm not using it anymore. Do you want it? And it's like, well, shit. Yeah. Okay. I can't afford that stuff. And they would just give me things that they weren't using anymore.
I would love that at restaurants if people would just give me things. That's just
I
my
would
own
love to
thing.
have food.
Yeah. I would love free. I love anything free. So, like if someone offers me like free Windex, I'm not using that a lot, but if it's free, I'm like, oh, I'll take 10.
It's funny because sometimes you actually do end up with little things like that.
Oh,
I worked for Nutella in Miami for a gig. Yeah, it was like a low-paid event that I knew would be a really good tip event. So it's like, well, just throw me a drink or two. And then I realized our green room was in a kitchen, and they did desserts with these gallon jugs of Nutella. And I made videos of it. They're on my Instagram, and it's like this massive, like human-sized tub of Nutella. It's like, can I just have that?
Please tell me they let you
as
take
pay. Yeah, I took home this like I had to get a whole suitcase for it. Because it was freaking huge and I didn't want to look like I was robbing the place. I got paid in Nutella and it was the best thing ever. And then I realized I was diabetic and I couldn't eat it.
I've been paid in some bad stuff, but I would love to be paid in Nutella.
It was like a $400 tub of Nutella.
You found out you were diabetic after you took the tub.
I know. It was terrible.
When you hope you're not halfway through the jug before you figured that out.
Yeah, it all kind of happened around the same time.
Oh my God.
I also started working in New Orleans around like all the good food and like the good pastries and the powdery stuff. After I was diagnosed with diabetic stuff, I can't eat any of that stuff. So I started working in like the most food-centric city on the planet. And I couldn't eat shit. I couldn't do like heavy starches. I couldn't have rice. I couldn't have jambalaya. Yeah, couldn't do processed meats. Couldn't have any sausage. No chorizo.
So I think the big difference between us here, one of the many, I feel like I am somewhat risk averse.
Really?
I do.
But you're putting, you do stand up so much and you're putting a lot of it. I know a lot of it's like creative writing and it's a lot of like goofy shit, but a lot of it does stem from reality. So you're exposing a lot of yourself doing that.
I don't mind being vulnerable. Okay. So I'll tell people exactly, like everything I say on stage is true. Mm-hmm. So I will tell people like my everything about me that like, it's funny. We were just talking about skincare at the beginning of this. I have an entire section that I worked on last year of maybe minimum 6 minutes, probably longer, about my feelings that men are so attached to masculinity that they don't realize that like women have all this cool shit that none of us are doing. And I talked about the first time I went to get a pedicure and I was very resistant.
So nice.
I was so resistant because I didn't know what it was. I was like, I'm not doing that. And Jess takes me and they were like, do you want one? I was like, a pedicure? No, thanks. And then she's like, well, you could just look on our menu. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to. I'm sorry, you get champagne? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, and you give a full shoulder and back massage. Sorry, I thought this is just about feet. And they were like,
it's a luxury experience.
It's a whole thing. And they were like, yeah, and we put wax here and do this, that.
They wrap the hot towel around you and just kind of scrub, and it just feels so good.
It's amazing. It's amazing. But I talk about that on stage, and I've had people come up to me after the show and be like, but you don't do that, right? And I was like, oh, no,
sure.
I love it, and I do it a lot.
It's wonderful.
I do it once a month. It's top tier.
We should all do a double date and go to like a foot spa.
Sign me up.
It's the best.
One time I was super stressed. I was on the road and I was just so stressed out. And Jess came to meet me and it was so good to see her. But she could tell I was stressed.
Did she take you for a foot rub?
Yes. So I was like, I need to go work. I have so much work to do. I have a lot of emails I need to answer. Like,
but you know what you can do when you're getting a foot rub? Your work.
But can I tell you something? I didn't do it. I didn't do my work. I was like, because I had a script revision I owed somebody, and I was like, I got to do this. And Jess goes, yeah, so here's what we're going to do. You're going to put your phone in Do Not Disturb for an hour. Mm-hmm. You're not going to look at it. And I'm going to take you somewhere. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And she goes, I know.
You need it.
You don't have a choice. This is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And so we go, and I was like, is this what you've been doing? You can just get this? Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, because when you go to get like a foot rub, they're rubbing your whole body.
They put you in like a massage chair where you are like zoned out, and it is just the best. It's the best.
It's
my
amazing.
God. Especially if they have like brandy. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, I didn't
Luxury.
I didn't have that at the one I went to.
Luxury.
But
it's like $30 to do all this. It's
yeah,
great.
yeah, that's the thing.
It's like it doesn't
That's
cost
the
a thing.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
But going back to what I was saying, I feel like I don't mind being vulnerable, but I feel like I'm risk averse in the sense that like I feel like if I were a burlesque performer, I would be scared of my own limitations and learning those.
That's valid.
And be scared of believing in myself in something and failing at it. So like fire breathing, for example, if I'm like, I really want to do this and then see that like I just can't move the dial, I'd be like, oh, so I guess I'm just like that's not for me.
Do you know what lies beyond the fear barrier? Success. That's one of those cheesy things.
I mean, I wish I could keep it in my mind all the time.
I wish you could too, because I'd love to see you do some bits while you're reading fire.
Oh yeah?
Or juggling fire. Or grinding sparks off your hoo-ha. You know?
Well, so I do grind sparks on my hoo-ha, but
I
I don't do
that.
it on stage.
It could be really fun whatever your situation is. I don't yuck anybody's yum.
Not at all. Yeah, I would be so curious to see like a comedian, a stand-up comic who brought in something like fire breathing or something like angle grinding or
you've got two burlesque dancers aside from me that do a lot of comedy stuff with the burlesque mixed in. There's Kiki Maroon and Dee Dee Cupcake. Now, Dee Dee studies comedy. Like, she's in school for this stuff. She goes to classes.
Yeah.
She's adorable. And she does this, like, glamour thing. Like, she's on stage and she's working with comedians that coach each other, dressed down, look like you rolled out of bed, show up with, like, flip-flops on and messed up hair and no makeup. She'll come in there looking like she's Miss America with, like, a crown and, like, a sash and, like, rhinestoned nails and beautiful rhinestone shoes, and she'll start picking on herself for like really going beyond, and it's like, girl, you look like a star, like you really are killing it. And then Kiki Maroon, she's a Vegas performer, and she started coming to my shows and was hilarious as a heckler. And she's beautiful. And
like you told her to heckle?
No, she would just start coming in and she'd play with me like back and forth. I love a good heckler. And it's like, God, you're really funny. Who are you? And she's like, oh, I'm Kiki Maroon. And it's like, you are a burlesque superstar comedian show host. So all of her burlesque shows are comedy based.
Interesting.
And she runs like so much dialogue, and it's so funny. Like, she makes fun of being a woman coming into her years. And she makes fun of looking ridiculous and her like crazy rhinestone corsets and all this stuff. Like, she's wearing headdresses. She looks like a flamingo. It's ridiculous. And she does all this comedy stuff. And then she'll do her own burlesque as she does her comedy. It's crazy.
Wait, how many places, I'm so curious, how many places, generally speaking, off the top of your head, cities have you performed in? Performance of any kind? Because you were naming a lot of places, and I'm like, how many places has this person been to?
I spend a lot of time in vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh God, 3 countries. 4 actually.
You performed in 4 countries?
I've done a couple of different countries. I did a whole comedy sideshow bit in England last spring. Yeah, that was fun.
What is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was cool.
Do these people find you? Do you find them?
I asked to do a show. There's a lot of casting groups on Facebook for, I've got a stand-up show. I'm looking for artists. Or we have a burlesque group for international booking. And there's this producer in Essex, which is this really cozy town, seaside resorts and like little parks with midways and stuff. It's really cute. It's the cutest thing ever. And she goes, I'm looking for burlesque performers that can talk a little bit on stage for this casino show. And I was looking at the casino. It's beautiful, like gorgeous, flowers everywhere, really nice. And I also know a writer that lives there that helps me write some of my stuff. He's
just
amazing.
Also happen to be
he
in
happens
Essex.
to live in Essex. And I was like, oh my God. So what if I just like say, hey, pick me. I'll fly myself out there. Put me up in a lodge. I'll do the show. So I had to convince her, like, let me bring sideshow. I'll do some really weird shit. So I did, I think, angle grinding. I did some fire. And I did, I don't know if you've seen me do this, tip stapling.
I don't love the sound of
You don't love the sound of this. It's a staple gun, and you allow people to tip you by stapling the cash to your body. So as I'm hosting, and as I was introduced for my first act, the first set I did was just classic pretty girl burlesque stuff. It was just a striptease, and that was nice. But my introduction, they said, oh, she's here from Hollywood, California. And the whole room went, oh, she's from Hollywood? I bet she's a movie star. I bet she knows De Niro or something. she's famous. It gave this crowd this dazzling idea of Hollywood, and it's hilarious. Everyone had a horrible idea of what Hollywood was. Is so wrong. And I would try to like pare them down a little. Like, no, you're walking through human poop in Hollywood. You don't want to go to Hollywood. The idea of it is the Monroe glamour.
I avoid. Yeah.
I don't want to go to Hollywood. I work in Hollywood a lot, and I don't even like doing that.
Yeah, no.
I do. I will love to take your money to work in Hollywood forever. But walking through it it's horrendous. I'm sorry. Please book me in Hollywood. I will take any work I can get.
Yeah.
But
I hate Hollywood, but for real, we're all available.
So when I got on stage to host the sideshow, it's like a 15-minute set of like just tricks and banter, and it's carnival style, and it's really fun and dangerous, and it's a pretty girl doing weird shit. So I like really pulled the Valley Girl thing. Like, oh my gosh, I'm from Hollywood. It is so crazy to be here in the home of the English language. You sound so funny. Wow. And people were so like, she's a Valley Girl. And I was like, yeah, I live in the Valley. It's so sunshiny. It's wild. And it had been like monsoon rain season.
Of course.
And these Londoners are like, you don't have to wear wellies. And I'm sitting there like, what's wellies? What is that?
Yeah, what
I didn't understand. It's rain boots.
Yeah, sure. Wellingtons, yeah.
Sure. I didn't even know that. You just taught me a fact.
Gotcha.
And I was like, no, I wear my Louboutins all through Hollywood when I'm walking the Walk of Fame to go to my work.
Did you keep this up the entire time?
The whole fucking set.
At the end, if people came up to you, did you drop it?
Yeah, I dropped it, yeah. They were really disappointed. And I was like, no, I work in Hollywood, but like once a month because I don't like it down there. And they're like, no, but you're like LA. It's like, yeah, you should come visit. Stay the fuck away from me if you do.
Oh my God.
It was cute.
I can't believe that. You went international.
It scared the shit out of people. They never invited me back.
What was it? Was it the angle grinding? The tip stapling?
Probably because so when I do the tip stapling, I this is going back to the punk thing. I really love being gross and bleeding.
Oh.
I do a lot of sideshow things like piercing myself, and there's blood and it's real. But because I style myself to look like a beauty queen and like this delicate angel person, it's even more like wrong to people. Like, why the hell would you do that? And it's like, hey, listen, $100 is $100. You just stapled $100 to my butt. That's great. I will take that.
It doesn't hurt to take the staples out.
Oh, it sucks. It hurts. It's a staple.
Yeah, no,
it's a staple. It's
staple. I'm getting that. I want to keep talking, but I know we have to go to our first segment. Are you ready for the Newly Friend game?
Yes.
Nice.
But can we talk about how delicious this tea is?
Oh my God, please talk about it. I love it.
It tastes like I'm drinking a Valentine.
It really does.
It's so good. I'm getting lipstick all over your mug. I'm so sorry.
Please. That's what you're
That's
the guest.
Mess.
That's what you're here for.
It's a mess.
I love it. So the Newly Friend game, it's like the Newlywed game, but we're friends. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to write down your answer. Don't say it out loud. I'm going to write down what I think your answer is, and then we'll check to see if I got it right. I think I'm going to get these wrong.
So I have to hide this from you.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
And then similarly for me, we are going to do, we'll do the same question. We'll do the same question for me as well.
This is funny.
So, okay. So my question is just based on the conversation we had. If you could have any band back you up and write a song specifically for you.
Everyone's going to know what I'm going to say.
To perform to. Oh, God. Now I feel like it's going to look really
we can
bad
do it. We can do it. It'll be fun if you can figure it out.
I'm going to try. I got to think about it.
Okay.
But if you could have any band back you up and write a song specifically for you to perform to, who would it be? This is a shot in the dark here. Okay. Flip your board on 3. 1, 2, 3. Flip. Ghost.
Motley Crue.
I said
Jane's
Motley
Addiction.
Crue.
That's cute.
What? Tell me who Ghost is and why I need to know. And I love the little symbol. Who is Ghost?
Okay, so Ghost is this is gonna like bore people to death that are watching this because I'm obsessed with this band. So it's a rock band that kind of spans a few different genres of music. They've got music that sounds like The Doors.
Oh.
Music that sounds like Blue Oyster Cult. They've got things that sound like Poison and Rat. They've got songs that sound like metal, heavy metal, hair metal, glam rock. They've even got stuff that sounds like old 60s doo-woppy beach music. It's really cute. It's hilarious.
I've not heard of them.
They're so fun. So they're not like a specific genre, but they look evil as shit. It's like satanic popes with like horny nuns all over the place and like masked devil guys.
Sounds like Thanksgiving for me every
year. It's so like visually, I stayed away from it for a while because I don't really love like screaming crazy screaming metal. I like more melodic stuff.
Sure.
And I thought that's what they were based on how they looked, because I see like corpse paint bands and I can't keep up with that stuff. It's just so like I can't do that.
No.
They don't sound like that at all. It's like you're listening to like a Pink Floyd release. It's crazy. It's so cute and it's catchy stuff and it's bouncy and it's fun, and a lot of their content started pretty satanic, which to me, growing up in a very small Christian community and a Catholic family, was like, ooh, rebellion. This is spicy. But then you start listening to it and it's like really cute, poppy, bouncy stuff. It's like adorable.
I feel like I got to check them out.
It's really fun. I'll recommend some songs.
I was going to say.
They've got something for everyone. They even modeled a lot of their stuff after ABBA. Hilariously. They're really into ABBA. I don't know if I'm saying it properly. ABBA?
ABBA? I don't know.
ABBA?
I mean, I'll say a controversial opinion right now. I am not a huge fan of ABBA.
I fucking love ABBA.
I'm getting eyes.
How do you
from
not
Dylan.
like ABBA?
Yeah,
I'm leaving.
listen, it's not for me. Now, I'm going to tell you right now. So we'll do the same question for me, but
Okay.
you don't really, because I haven't given too much off about
haven't,
what I listen to. So I mean, like, here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'm going to write down. I'll write down 3 different answers.
3 different
If you
answers.
get any of them,
Ooh.
and I don't think you will.
Does that mean I get another cup of tea?
Yes. If you get any of them, you will get points, and I'll fill up your tea.
Oh, yeah.
I need to think of 3 answers that
Okay,
are
so it's the same question.
same question.
Okay.
If I could have a band write a song specifically for me to come out to perform, who would it be for me? And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give. This is not a hint, I don't think.
Don't be upset with me for the things that I choose based on the style of your home, the way that you dress, and your personality.
Okay. I
Okay.
feel like
It might be things I think you might like.
I'm going to just give you a heads up. I already
Okay.
feel my feelings getting hurt.
No, it's not going to be mean. I'm not going to do that. I'm not malicious.
But what I will tell you is, it may not be a band. It may be an individual artist.
Okay.
So I'm just going to let you know.
I kind of had a feeling.
I'm going to write down 3 things.
Okay.
And we'll just see where it goes. I'm going to learn a lot about myself today from
No!
how you view me. So write down what
I'm
you
going to
like.
write down 2 I think that might be obvious and 1 that might be a surprise.
All right, you ready? Flip your board on 3. 1, 2, 3, flip. So Bruno Mars, Jeff Buckley, and Tenacious D is what you wrote. What I wrote was Childish Gambino, Jimi Hendrix, Paramore, or Method Man and Redman.
That is surprising. Childish Gambino I could see.
Yeah,
He's
that-
very cool.
He is too cool for school.
He's way too cool.
Which one surprises you the most?
Probably Method Man and Redman.
Diehard Method Man and Redman fan. I'm
Really?
a New Yorker. So I really,
Oh.
I mess with New York artists.
That's
so
amazing.
Big on those folks. Blackout is an album that has stood the test of time for me. But interesting. So listen, I love Jeff Buckley.
I finally found a copy of Grace on vinyl at a record shop.
Like original printing?
Yep.
Wow.
I've been begging record shops to find that for me, and none of them had it, and I got that sucker. I still am looking for Live at Chennai. I cannot find that one on vinyl anywhere for under like $300.
So Bruno Mars, Jeff Buckley. Who is the third one on your list there?
Tenacious D.
Tenacious D. So I actually don't. I'm not insulted by any of those answers.
Tenacious D is hilarious.
Tenacious D is wonderful. I think that when I look at an artist that I would want to write my this music I'm coming out to, like coming out on the stage, I feel like Jeff Buckley would be a little too sad.
Be a little too sad. Yeah.
It'd be
He
too
was
sad.
the voice of an angel.
Oh,
Tragic stuff, but I mean, if you listen to Eternal Life, it's still kind of it's banging. It's a rock song.
I think all the songs are. He's still got pump up, but I cannot imagine having more fun than coming out to Childish Gambino.
I mean, it would be so good.
Or having Hendrix rip a solo.
Could you imagine?
I would die.
How epic. I often think about that when I watch pro wrestling. It's like, how did you pick your come on song?
Well, okay. There's got to be a whole thing. My guess, if I were a pro wrestler, because the come out, that's important. That
It's
sets
a big
the
thing
stage.
that sets your vibe.
So I'm guessing if I'm a pro wrestler, I'm coming out with 5 to 6 songs, going to my team, right? The people that help me, my trainer, my
They're
going
gonna
to
make you a mega mix.
And I'm like, hey, I'm looking at these 6. Let's narrow to 3. Then maybe we're doing test runs where if I'm coming out for practice, I'm having that play when I come out. I'm seeing
Whatever
what
makes
works.
you strut the best.
Yeah, what's bringing out the vibes? I don't know.
I love it.
I think about all that. The difference between my art form and yours is you actually do get to pick what music you come out to.
Okay, so it's funny. I hosted a show last night, and our sound guy and I work together all the time. And some of the bits I have are really long, and he started playing backing tracks for them. One of them is "In the Arms of the Angels." because it's
You're talking about the ASPCA Sarah McLachlan
yeah,
song.
it's I think that's the song. It's about a little boy named Little Timmy, and it's a song. Or it's a bit about growing your community by tipping strippers' assholes.
Oh, that's what.
And it's like
I do
sentimental,
that.
and it's uplifting, and it's motivating, and it's very cute and sweet. It's a sweet bit, but it's raunchy.
Would they put the money in?
Maybe like just in the underwear.
In the underwear, okay. So not.
They don't really do that in California. They don't tip inside your clothes. They just like throw it at you because it's like, get the fuck away from me. You smell like a barn stripper. So
is that what it's like?
I did a couple of little goofy, like it's changed up the way that I do come on stage. And I hadn't worked with him in a while, and new year, new bits, new style. Like, let me see if I can make things a little more funny. Because I come out now and it's just this awkward like, hi. Then it's like, let me try that again. That was weird. Fuck. And I'll just kind of stumble back out stage. And our sound guy, without even having a conversation, started playing music that sounded like a Netflix comedy special. Like when they bring out Sarah Silverman and it's like this kind of generic lobby, like boop, 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 like cute stuff, like bouncy. And I was like, oh, that's nice. I feel like I'm filming a special. And then like people started putting their phones up and I was like, no, don't do that. This stuff is not perfected yet. We're not going to film this and put it on the internet forever. I'm still working through all this. So he started like dimming the music and it's like, no. Keep playing it. I'll sashay. Yeah. So he started the whole opening bit like sashaying around the stage to his funky like hotel lobby 70s lounge music. It was hilarious.
I would love to come out to that. I do really want to ask about this because I mentioned it earlier. So I have not seen in person you with snakes, but I am aware that you work with snakes.
I do.
God, why? And dear God, stop.
Oh, they're so sweet.
You have no fear whatsoever.
I'm afraid of large spiders, which is weird because my partner has like 17 of them. He has large breed tarantulas.
I'm sorry, in his apartment?
Yeah, he's got a beautiful curio shelf, and they're all in beautiful little enclosures.
They're alive, you mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, they're huge.
I would legitimately rather
they
cut
do
my
make me
arm
nervous
off than go to this apartment.
I can watch like cute, silly spider videos, and they do have personalities, but they're so jumpy that it makes me nervous. I like slow moving items like snakes.
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm ignorant. Everyone's going to scream at the screen or at the podcast. By the way, wherever podcasts are heard. But can't tarantulas, if they bite you, kill you?
So I don't think tarantulas can, but there are smaller, less significant looking spiders that can absolutely ruin your life.
But like, okay,
I don't think any of them can kill you with a bite, but if untreated, can lead to
so he's
sepsis.
pet tarantulas. Does he take them out?
No, they don't. They're not friendly. You can't really handle them. They have these. It's a big word, and I can't remember the word, but these little hairs. And they do something as a reaction when they're threatened called kicking hairs. And it feels like fiberglass thorns in your skin. They like shoot this at you. It's like.
So he just has them in an enclosure.
They're just these beautiful, he builds these like topiary, gorgeous, like little garden enclosures for them and feeds them goofy little crickets. And
how does he get the food in if it's sealed?
Long tweezers. And they just go, yoink, thank you.
And this does not, you were able to sleep in that apartment.
Oh yeah. They can't get out. Those enclosures are pretty solid, but the snakes are fun. So the snakes are fun. The largest one I ever helped look after was a green anaconda. And I think she was around 16 feet long. She wasn't mine, but I lived in a home with a woman who had both a tarantula and this anaconda.
Do you just like want to live in a nightmare?
I'm from Florida.
Yeah, you're like been there, done
I'm
that.
from Florida. I escaped.
Yeah, and yet you bring the nightmares to your doorstep.
I do. I love my snakes.
So she's 16 feet.
She's heavy. Yeah, I never actually held her on my own because I feel like she was heavier than me, and that's not something you should do. So you have to study handling of these large breed snakes. And I have a large breed snake, but she's still a baby noodle. She's little. She's like the length of my arm. She's still pretty small.
How do you know she's not going to eat you?
She won't. They're not that smart. Okay, I'm going to say this and it's going to make people sad. Snakes are stupid.
Okay.
They are stupid.
Okay.
They have one little tiny lentil-sized brain cell. They don't know things, but they do know that if you handle them enough, you are not food, and they can feel safe around you, so you can handle them. They don't feel love or affection. They feel hunger, mating, sleep. And sometimes they're afraid of
so
you.
Different from a snake.
Yeah. We want to eat, and we want sex, and we want to not be as scared.
Yeah.
So yeah, the snake that I do have, my boa, she is a jungle het VPI boa constrictor, which is a genetic strain that means she will lose pigmentation in her skin as she grows older. So she'll turn pretty pale, which is really exciting because as they grow, their skin changes, and it's just fun to watch them turn into something beautiful. 11 feet long. Beautiful. She's going to get pretty big. Yeah. Her breed is pretty large.
And you're still going to be able to handle her?
Oh, yeah. I bring her out every day. And you know what? I actually found out, and this was super cute. So snakes freak people out, but I also do on Instagram. Sometimes I'll have her out and she'll fall asleep on me. She just likes that I'm warm. I'm a warm tree. So she'll just sleep on me. It's a cute thing they do. And I'll do snake facts. And it's like, hey, so here's the thing I hear a lot is, are they going to eat you? And it's probably never. She couldn't get her mouth that wide around me. But she could knock me out if she really wanted to because they are a constricting breed. So you're trained with that type of snake to never wrap them around your neck. Like you always see in cartoons, somebody with a snake around their neck. They can squeeze the sides of your neck so hard that you do actually pass out.
Do you die?
I hope not.
Okay. I'm not saying do you. I'm saying can one.
Probably, I don't know, but it's not something that's common. And the other snake that I have in my home is an 8-year-old ball python. He's a foster. I'm looking after him for a friend. She's touring. And he's adorable, and he's about 4.5, 5 feet long, but he's such a little gentle cutie that he just likes to be held like a baby at all times.
I thought pythons have like the fangs.
They do.
And you...
like 100 of them.
Okay, you said you're scared of certain spiders. Is there anything else you're scared of? I know we have to get to lightning round. I will not until I get this answer. Is there anything that you are legitimately scared of? You seem fearless.
I'm afraid of dying, and I'm afraid of heights.
I mean, those are really good
my
answers.
body has, it's like a body reaction to heights, and it's super embarrassing. I found out in a group of really cool friends that I wanted to be impressive.
Yeah.
They wanted to go hiking to the big tree at the Hollywood sign.
Oh, yeah.
The wisdom tree. I don't go hiking. I'm used to flat land. I'm a Floridian, and I grew up in a swamp. Like, I don't know hills and things, and I am super intimidated by it, but I wanted to be cool, and I just moved to town. I want new friends. Sure, let's go to the Hollywood sign. We'll see the wisdom tree. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Let's smoke reefer, too. I don't know what you guys do out here. I don't know anything about that stuff.
You sound like a narc.
I'm fucking square. I'm such a boring square. I don't do anything wrong, ever. So, yeah, I don't break rules.
I love how all you do is break rules.
All I do is break rules. I'm fucking nuts. But we get like up to, there's this little plateau after going a little vertical for a while. It's just like a nice like trees and hills, and the view of the city's beautiful. And you can see the entirety of LA around you. It's beautiful. But there's this landing where you can kind of stop and like take photos and have a picnic or whatever. And we stand there. And they show me the rest of the trail, and it's literally a vertical, like you need a crowbar to like hook into the dirt to like climb up. There's no safety, there's no rails, and I didn't have health insurance. So I was like, okay, we'll try this. So I get up there, and everyone's like, 20 feet ahead of me, and I'm just like holding on to like a tree, and I'm just like, guys, I think I need to stop. And they were like, what's going on? I was like, I'm ambitious, but my legs are saying no. And my knees, it's like a cartoon shaking. And at my I'm sweating, and I don't sweat usually. So it was like really weird. And I had like a full like body reaction to it. And I wasn't like scared up here, but my body was terrified. So I was like, I'm frozen and I can't move. They had to come and like pry my hands out of the ground that I was trying to climb. They had to like get my hands out. It was white knuckling. And like 3 of them had to drag me back down the hill onto the little landing. And I told them, just go on without me. It'll be fine. And they all went up there and were texting me like, it's so pretty up here. You should have joined us. And it's like, I'm going to throw up all over you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to go up that height. Do you want to play with my python? We'll see what you're scared of. This is crazy. I want to keep asking about this, but I feel like we should get to the lightning round. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. So the lightning round is 5 fast questions. They do not at all have to be fast answers.
Okay.
And I like to keep it on an index card because it makes me feel like a late night talk show host.
This is really nice.
Yeah, just, we're here.
I do that on stage. It's good.
Question 1. What is a favorite ritual of yours? So
favorite ritual?
Yeah. So for example, for me, I love brewing tea every morning.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
I do a French press every morning.
Oh,
I have to start my day with a French press.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So is that, where are you on the caffeine scale? Do you do like 1 cup of coffee in the morning and that's kind of your whole thing?
I'll do like 2 cups.
Okay.
And that'll keep me all day.
I like that.
Yeah. It's gotta have a coffee before I do anything, before any thinking, emails, before I put clothes on or open the windows and curtains. I have to have coffee in my mouth.
Jog the brain.
I have to.
I like it.
Yeah.
Question 2, what is a running bit you have with a friend or partner that makes you laugh?
Oh, God. My partner and I speak a lot in meme language.
Go on.
He has this funny thing he started doing with me. I speak in a lot of like 80s TV references and stuff, and we're about the same age, so he gets it, and it's really fun. And he'll rattle out with like a Monty Python quote or something, or like some goofy thing from a meme, like "Heh, got him." Like anytime I do something really like jarringly awkward, but somehow I manage to salvage my charisma after that, he'll just be like, "Yeah, got him."
I love that.
So we have that like. Got him. It's very stupid, but it's like, yeah, I just knocked my entire drink off the table, and that's embarrassing. But it landed in my purse, so no mess. That's great. I'll just be like, yeah, Gucci got him. That's good.
Oh my God.
If I could afford Gucci.
I just want you to know, if it makes you feel any better, not only are my running bits with Jess very stupid, but I joke with her that she could spill a cup of air and stain the carpet. So like she
That's mean.
That girl is spill prone like
That
no
is
one I've ever met.
mean.
So don't ever feel bad. If you spill a drink into your purse, just know Jess has definitely done it.
Oh, I've absolutely knocked an entire mug of coffee into my handbag. Actually,
yeah.
just last night, I spilled an entire bottle of water inside my purse. It was great. It was leaking all down my legs. I thought I got stabbed or something, and I didn't notice it. Like, I just feel this dripping under my clothes. Like, what the hell? And there's just this uncapped bottle of water just like sideways in my purse. I don't know.
That makes sense.
It's great.
I feel like at this point, your partner's probably like, you came home, you're like, this happened. They're like, yeah, that makes sense.
It tracks.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's the one. It tracks.
That tracks. Question 3, what is a controversial opinion that you have?
I feel like people who do this illness faker thing.
Oh, been hearing about this.
Okay, so there's an entire culture now of young people that are claiming to have multiple personality DID. It's a horrible illness when people legitimately suffer it. It's terrible. But these kids are cosplaying mental illness, and they're making famous TikToks out of it, and they're making like collections of breakdowns of every one of their like alter personalities, and like capturing them switching between personalities conveniently on camera. And I feel like it's really tragically defeating people who deal with this stuff. This is really heavy, but they deal with this stuff in real life, and it's like horrible, because now if somebody my age says, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm having these weird symptoms, I'm dissociating, I'm staring off, and I'm like going on autopilot, and that's a symptom of that. And it's really scary, because like you could go into road hypnosis and not remember the last few blocks you just drove. Like, shit, what happened? Something else was driving your car for you. That is a symptom of that. And then you see these kids who look like anime characters, like cosplaying cat people, and they'll fake these little dances and fake passing out and fake switching on camera. And it's so goddamn infuriating, because it makes people think that somebody like me who does have dissociative tendencies sometimes when I'm zoning out, it delegitimizes actually getting help.
I've not seen it. I believe you. I've just never seen this
fantasy world where they're saying, oh, it's because I have DID. And it's like, you're just a douchebag. It's been freaking me out. And I wanted to not say it, but it's like, it's one of those things that's like, I need to say it. That was heavy. I'm sorry about that.
No, I loved it. It was because let me put it this way. When we ask that question, sometimes people say things where I'm like, that's not that interesting. Yours was actually interesting and insightful. Question 4.
Okay.
Have you ever experienced imposter syndrome? And if so, is there one particular moment or event that really sticks with you?
Yeah, a lot, actually. It took me 35 years before I could actually accept a compliment from somebody. It's another sad thing. Yeah, like I grew up just really quiet. I wasn't speaking a lot when I was a kid. I didn't like other kids, so I didn't really have friends. And most of my friendships were with the adults in my life, like my cool uncle and my cool aunt, or like the babysitter's friends who'd come over. Like they were all in high school. I was a little kid. Like I wanted intellectual conversations with people. And it always freaked people out. It made them uncomfortable. Like, why is this child reading like Einstein theories when she's 6? Like, this is creepy. It's like book nerd thing. And whenever people would say like, wow, you'd be a really great lawyer, or like, you'd be a great teacher, it was insulting and I didn't understand it. Yeah. Like when a kid's a brat and they're like mouthy back at you, and it's like they like to fight, like they'd be a great freaking litigator.
Yeah.
So like, you'd be a great freaking politician, you little shit. So I started seeing other adults talk down to kids like that, like a kid that maybe wasn't super adorable. Oh my God, you're so cute, honey. Like those little white lies used to drive me nuts because I was complimented a lot as a kid, and I didn't know if they were being earnest or not. So whenever people would say, "Oh, good job, you just killed it out there on stage. Like you looked so pretty." Like I would just kind of like remember that, like, you don't have to be nice. That's sweet of you. And I would just kind of awkwardly like, no, please don't say those things to me. I didn't like it. It freaked me out. And then I think one of my first performances in Hollywood, I was probably like 21 years old. It was at I think it was called the Cat Club or something like that. Miss Kitty's Cabaret, that's what it was called.
Oh.
It was really cute. And Calpurnia Adams was our host that night. Famous drag queen. Fucking love her. Amazing person. And we're still friends. It's really cute. And I showed up, and I guess I didn't have enough jewelry for like the pizzazz of this venue. Like I wasn't really talented with burlesque yet, but I had good ideas and good music. And she goes, "Here, baby, let me put some stuff on you." And she was like dressing me and like helping style me. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like amazing. Like I feel like I'm a wife on Dynasty. And I got on stage, I slaughtered it. I did such a fucking good job. My show was so good. Got off the stage. And like, it was NAMM week. So it's like, oh, these famous rock and roll dudes are in town. And it's like, I'm fans of every rock and roll person on the planet. And like I can't even figure out if they were lying or not that they were in WASP. These dudes were like, yeah, hi, dude from WASP, like name. And he was like, that was fucking killer. You should be in music videos. And I was like, wow, like Tawny? I love her because I grew up watching the music video babes. And it's like, I'm one of those girls in Hollywood now. And it was like the one time I actually let it sink in. Some random dude that probably wasn't in that band at all just was like, yeah, I just want that was fucking killer. You could totally roll around on top of a car in a car wash with like a cheeseburger, flip your hair. It was fucking hot. It's like, thanks, metal dude.
I can do that.
I can do that.
That's a great answer.
It's a lot of words.
I loved it. Question 5, our final question. What is your favorite tea? And if you're not a big tea drinker, what is your favorite comfort?
My favorite comfort?
Or your favorite tea, if you want to answer that.
Oh, okay. It starts with a bathrobe.
Oh, okay. Like it.
Coffee with a little bit of non-dairy vanilla creamer in it.
Excellent.
And Animal Crossing on my Nintendo Switch. Yeah, I put like 1,500 hours in my Animal Crossing. I love my little villagers.
I think that is an incredible answer. I now want to throw on a bathrobe. That's the pod. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Yeah?
I talked a lot. I'm so sorry.
Why do you think I had you on here? Because I wanted to
I
hear
never
what you had to
shut
say.
up.
I wanted to hear what you had to say. I will say again that you've given me nightmares that will not soon pass.
Wonderful.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much. It was lovely having you.
Thank you.
That was Vita DeVoid. You can find her on Instagram and TikTok at Vita DeVoid. This episode was produced by Dylan Rosenthal. It was edited by Martin Alvarez. Our theme song and additional music are by Oliver Hymack. Our cover art was done by Neil Fraser with photography by Matt Mazisco. Social media by Dia Villegas. Please write a review and rate our podcast on Apple Podcasts and wherever else you can. You can send any questions, comments, newly friend game suggestions, or tea suggestions to steepcombos@gmail.com or tweet us at steepcombos. I'm Josh Lanzette, and you can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Josh Lanzette. We'll be back next week, so until then, happy steeping. Do you have any idea how many fears this interview has just brought out in me? It's like at least 50.
It's what I do for a living. Yeah, okay. Got him.